The topic for the first session is Think Global and Work Local. The resource person for this session is Rotarian Leo Peter, CEO, Garuda Aerospace, Bangalore. I invite Anne Supriya Sriju for the formal introduction of our faculty.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all the young future leaders of tomorrow. Today, let me take this privilege of introducing Rotarian Leo Peter Charles. Mr. Leo is an avid aeromodeler and drone enthusiast. He has a bachelor degrees in aeronautical engineering from MVJ College of Engineering and has had the opportunity to study under Air Commander S.C. Gupta, who was the director of Simlac Center for Military Airworthiness and Certification. Mr. Leo has trained more than 5,000 plus students in aero modeling in his career spanning 6 years now. Mr. Leo has had the opportunity of training 50 plus drone pilots for the drone industry for various industrial applications who are now employed in 15 plus companies. He had published a paper on slotted weakness design for reduction of induced drag at DRDO conference 2013 held at Hyderabad. Mr. Leo and his team were engaged by the government of Odisha in training drone pilots for COVID-19 operations. He is an aerospace consultant for various academic institutions like VIT Bhopal, East West College of Engineering, Agni Institute of Technology, MVJ College of Engineering, etc. His clients include STI Aerospace, Absolute Composites, General Aeronautics, Arab Unmanned System, etc. Jain Aerospace in his startup where he is the founder and managing director. He is also a member of Drone Federation of India. Mr. Leo also believes in contributing back to society. He works with several NGOs and with Rotary International as well as being his primary organization for service to society. He is currently the president of Rotary Club of Gokul Vidya in Bangalore. It's really my privilege to introduce you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Supriya. Over to the faculty.
I thank everyone for the opportunity, especially Rotarian John Bruno, who connected me to this. And then it's a wonderful opportunity to be talking to the future of this country at this time where we are in the middle of multiple crises, and then we need leaders who can provide solutions. And the topic at hand is also very interesting. It was interesting for me as well when I was making the presentation. I will try to do justice as much as possible because I only have 30 minutes to do this presentation. So kindly bear with me. I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm if you're able to see the presentation. Okay. So let's. Okay. So think global, act local. My name is Leo Peter Charles. I am the president of Rotary Club of Bangalore Gokul Vidya, and I'm also a dual member. I'm also a Rotarian. Apart from that, I also have a startup and then head another startup. I'm the managing director at Jain Aerospace. We are primarily a drone pilot training organization. Apart from that, I am also the CEO of Garuda Aerospace. Garuda Aerospace is drone as a service company operating in India with multiple offices in India and then few in North America. So it is really interesting to understand how the global markets have merged. And then it's very important to know that today, whatever solution entrepreneurs build, it has the potential to go global. This can be viewed in two ways. One is building a solution for a local challenge and then viewing it in the global arena. Also building a global brand, a global product and service, and then customizing it to the local situation, needs and wants. So this thought process is very important at this point of time because the challenges the human race faces day on day is becoming larger and larger because of our want, our need, our curiosity to explore. And because of that, it is becoming very difficult for countries themselves to find solutions. We need a global approach to a lot of things. in terms of providing solution or creating something new. And that is where this thought process will finally lead to, and that's why we need to start. This is the agenda, 5-point agenda, where I will be talking about what think global, act local means, and the new word called local, and what are the metrics. If you're building a product or a service, what it is, what is the thought process behind it, how do you plan to become a global leader for the same. So I'll take you ahead, and then maybe in the last 5 minutes we'll take a couple of questions. This is a very nice thought process and a quote. One of my colleagues suggested this to be put, and then I felt it's apt for this. He who wants to move mountain begins by taking away myth. A visionary came along and then saw what could be done by taking it global. So that way, we have been pioneers in that right from early times. I would say that we've been doing trade, and then we've taken locally grown products. Kerala, the hotbed of spices, has been exporting these to the world over, right? So the ecosystem exists in India for thousands of years, but then how we viewed it is what is really important. So we take something as simple as an app to book a cab and then expand it to multiple countries, and then it's a global brand. That similarly, you take fried chicken, it's just chicken in batter and then fried, right? But then today KFC exists all over the world. That is what we are talking about. So we need to be creating global solutions. So think global, act local means to tailor your business to each geographic audience while maintaining a global brand. Let's say you come up with a dish, or you come up with a restaurant chain where you have a set of menu, but then you go to another country, some food might be allowed, some might not be allowed. And that way, you would not be able to really capture the market. That's where you need to act local. But then we're thinking global, right? We want to build a restaurant chain in about 200 plus countries. So, but then we can't sell the same thing in every country. We will be seeing how McDonald's did that. So we need to be thinking global, build a brand for that, but then cater to the local details that will help to make the business or a product or the solution better. So what are the components of local, or the concept of local is where we are focusing on core global standard strategy, which has local elements and in turn signifies localization of the global strategy. So what basically it is you take a product that's worldwide and then customize it to be sold locally, right? Now, if you take Yamaha's bikes, they are named differently for different region. The FC in India is named Bison in Indonesia. So that way products are very different in terms of naming, because it's more appealing to people, right? McDonald's does not serve all the meats, types of meat they serve in the United States, because in India, because there are certain restrictions. So you build a brand around what the localized population is looking at, but then you're still maintaining global standards for what you want to deliver. So this is a simple example. This is all McDonald's, right? The only McDonald's you would have had is the Mac Maharaja and the Indian version of it. They have a different burger in Korea. For India, there's Mac Maharaja. There's Mac Sushi in in Japan, and then you have the Samurai Burger in Thailand. So I've tried 2 of them. They're really different, catering to local tastes, so that it's more appealing. But then it's still a global brand. Their global standards are still met, but then they have this local touch, which makes localites feel that the restaurant is local, right? You would prefer to go to a local restaurant where you know the hotelier, you know the staff there, you know the chef there, you know what kind of food the chef knows you personally. So this is kind of personalization that McDonald's tried. and it very well worked for them. So what does it mean to think globally? Now, I am not a businessman per se. I'm an entrepreneur. I build solutions. Money is the byproduct of that solution, right? My solution that I always try to build looks to help a larger audience, larger people to benefit from it. That's what entrepreneurs do. We build solutions that benefit a lot of people. So you can benefit less number of people. You can benefit a lot of people. That depends on what solution you are providing. But when we build a solution, we always think the target market or the target audience is the world. We don't think, okay, I'm in Chennai, Chennai is only my market, or Tamil Nadu is my market, or India is my market. We don't think like that. Because if right now in COVID-19 situation, just imagine, everybody needs vaccine, everybody needs masks, everybody needs hand sanitizers, right? Everybody needs thermal screening, everybody needs pulse oximeter. So it's a global problem. You can cater to a global problem, thus helping a lot of people. So before you start to provide solutions, you need to think of what certain questions, these 6 questions you need to think of before you can go ahead. So what is the primary goal of your company? Or what's your primary goal? Let's say you're the company or a single person company. So what is your primary goal? What do you want to do? If you already have a company, where do you stand? If you're a beginner, then you're fresh then. So how many countries would you like to expand to in a reasonable amount of time? I cannot tell I would like to be in 200 countries tomorrow. It doesn't make sense, right? So we need to have a plan for it. How many offices they should expand both globally and locally? Now, what this means is you can be in a country, but then how many places in the country are you going to be there? That's what that makes. And what languages and cultures would be the most benefit in those locations? Now, if you go to France, you can't operate in English. You need to operate in French. If you go to Spain, you can't operate in English. You need to operate in Spanish. Same with Germany. If you go to Switzerland, Latvia, Lithuania, any country, they have their local dialect. People can relate to you when you're speaking to them in local dialect. That's when they feel the product is theirs. As long as the customer does not feel that they are part of the product, they will never buy. So we need to always look at local languages and cultures. That's why McDonald's keeps changing a lot of offerings on their menu based on what the local people want, right? And then later you need to get your talent pool set, which also thinks globally. It's not sufficient only for the leadership to think globally. The entire company needs to think globally, and that's the most important aspect for you to become a global brand or a global solution provider. So what is acting locally? Now, acting locally is you take a product of world standard and then try to customize it for your local market, right? Maybe too much spice sells in India. You can't, the same amount of spice that goes into pizza, Domino's pizza here, cannot go in the Middle East or cannot go in the United States. So they customized it for the taste of the localites here. Similarly, what sells or the mentality with which people purchase in India is not the same with which people purchase in the Europe or in America, right? For a very simple thing, banking schemes in Europe is way different than banking schemes in India, because savings is a concept of in India. There's the concept of savings predominantly does not exist in the European Union because of social security measures, pension and all that stuff. Right? So where banking products are given, maybe term deposits or maybe mutual funds, or what's the interest on savings account, everything is is very different when compared to India and European Union. So that way you need to tailor your product for the local market. So these 8 things are something that you will need to look to before getting things done or going global. So one is product planning. You need to know how good your product needs to be and then how it needs to cater to the local customer. Then we come to customer need. We need to ask these questions to a lot of people to understand what the local is looking for. Then who are your local competitors? What the added advantage that you have with them? What's the cultural diversity in that place? What's going to be your marketing strategy? What advertisements sell better with the local people? How do you connect with them? What are the government rules and regulations that exist? Is there an ecosystem that can support you, right? That's also very important. And then maintenance requirement. So anything that you do or sell will need, if it's a product, not a consumer product, you will need some maintenance for that, and then that's something that you will need to look into. This is the 6-step execution plan. Determine how to leverage local resources, generate a country-specific profit and expense model. Conduct detailed research, then you generate a country-specific profit and expense model. Perform proof of concept meetings with target customers, invest in necessary local real estate and equipment, execution against a pre-validated plan. So this is how you build. So this does not only apply for a company. Even if you think you're going to start an NGO and then you want to run a sustained NGO kind of program, then you will need to look at all of these aspects. Only thing, the profit part will move away from, but rest of it will still remain. And because you need to run a sustain and you need to raise funds, you need to know where those funds need to be implemented. You need real estate. You need your concept to be working, because you cannot raise, people will not buy a lot of concepts that you raise. You need to know what exactly will touch the emotional quotient of the person. So even if you're going to run an NGO, you need to understand all these concepts before you go ahead. And then NGO can definitely also be global, just like how Rotary International is. These are a few of the challenges that you will need to look into before you go global, and then understand what are the problems that you might be or you may face going ahead. Okay, so we come down to few of the Indian brands that have been going global. So anyways, Lakme is also part of Tata, but then Zomato, Micromax, Infosys, Ola, Bajaj, Byju's, Oyo, and Reliance. So Ola, Byju's, Oyo, and Zomato grew very, very quickly to become global brands. So Ola is now working in 4 countries. Lakme serves 40 plus. Infosys though is worldwide. Oyo is in 80 plus countries. So this was a small. So Ritesh Agarwal's father also owns a hotel, and that's how they started with that app. But then later he started building, putting in more hotels into the app, and then now today they're in 80 plus countries. Oyo predominantly did not own hotels, but now they do for some amount. But that's an excellent concept. Basic problem they tried to solve, where they had control over what the hotels were offering in terms of a standardization of the room. So it's an excellent problem that they solved. Micromax in 7 countries. Reliance is again worldwide, offering multiple solutions. Byju's, Harvard case study, operating in 10 countries. And then Bajaj, 50 countries, very good exporter of your 2-wheelers and even trucks. Okay, so Zomato is a company that I am now working with for their drone delivery. Hopefully by another 2-3 years, you will have food and as well as your e-commerce purchases come to your home on drones. So this is a small clip of Zomato's success story.
Startup Stories in association with Olook.in. Food is the driving force for many, and when we say that, we mean so many people. It also comes first on the list with regard to our basic amenities. Well, needless to say, but waiting for food is something which every foodie hates. When they are hungry, they need it right away. While some get irritated waiting in queue to order food, others just can't help but keep calm till their turn comes. However, there are another lot of people who will find a solution to this eternal crisis and create a platform to do away with the hurdles to a happy meal. Dipender Goyal and Pankaj Chadda are such names who have been successful in doing that, and at the same time helping food lovers across the world reach out to their one and only solace, that is food. Well, if you did not guess it right till now, then let's unfold the mystery. Today, we are talking about the success story of food search engine Zomato, and it won't be wrong if we say that this is the Google of food. The thought to build up a brand like Zomato came from Bain & Co.'s New Delhi office. Dipender Goyal was working as a senior associate consultant and Pankaj Chadda was working as senior analyst at Bain. They are both graduates from IIT Delhi, and while working for Bain, they saw people wait for long hours in the food court to get a glance of the menu card. Therefore, one day they thought of finding a solution to this, and the idea thought germinated in the form of Foodie Bay. They scanned copies of the menu and uploaded it on the company's private network. Soon, the employees started using the facility, thus saving their time and in turn bringing traffic to the website. Soon, this intranet-based service was made public and the menu was no longer confined to the cafeteria but extended far and wide. The first restaurant menu they uploaded on their portal was those belonging to Haus Khas in Delhi. After Delhi, they casted their radar over major cities like Kolkata and Mumbai. Their services were used by thousands of users and the number has only multiplied ever since. Foodie Bay was getting recognition as the services it was providing was unique, prompting the founders to take this project to a pan-India level. It was then that they chose to revamp the name in order to make it more captivating and easy to remember, and also to avoid any confusion with the popular website eBay. And hence, in November 2010, Foodie Bay came to be known as Zomato, a name that fits the belly perfectly. With the extensive utility of this website to locate restaurants and scroll through the menu cards, the builders of Zomato thought that they should make it easier for people to access. They then ushered in the thought of building a mobile application for this website so that people can benefit from it on the go. But with the broadening of this idea, the need for funding was felt. And as usual, if you have a great idea with awesome founders, funds just come in. Zomato interested Sanjeev Bikhchandani, who is the founder of Naukri.com, as he applied to invest in the startup. Thus, in 2010, he provided seed funding of $1 million through his company InfoEdge India. But after this, there was no stopping to Zomato and Dipender Goyal, as in the next round of funding, the same financiers provided them with a fund of $3.5 million. Later in 2030, Zomato received a whopping $10 million funding from InfoEdge India, making it a holder of more than 50% stakes in the startup. Other investors of this enterprise include Sequoia Capital, VY Capital and Temasek. Well, after that, Zomato just kept receiving funding, and by now, Zomato has raised a total funding worth $225 million. With the injection of funding, the company was now focusing on expansion plans. While it was running successfully in Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Bangalore and Pune, Zomato launched coverage in other 3 major cities in India, including Chennai, Hyderabad and Ahmedabad by 2011. Moreover, Zomato later expanded beyond Indian borders by launching its services in Dubai in September 2012. This triggered a series of expansions into Sri Lanka, United Kingdom, Philippines, South Africa, New Zealand and Turkey. With 90 million registered users, Zomato is a platform where one can get in touch with foodies around the world. Taking advantage of this, big restaurants place their ads on this website, and this is how Zomato makes money. Another way in which this portal generates revenue is by the sale of tickets of food festivals. However, the journey to the top was not that easy for Zomato and Dipender Goyal. The most important task the company had is to figure out how to cover all the streets in major cities so that the people who rely on them do not miss out on the best eateries in the town. This hurdle was there when Zomato was in its early stages, and it still persists to be a challenge. But the founders along with the team members are putting in all their efforts to make it better. Well, recently, when they launched their website in Dubai, the co-founder Pankaj Chadda himself went out in the scorching heat of the summer to take up the details of the restaurants. Well, even today, the challenges faced by Zomato are nothing less. They went on an expansion spree in India without even analyzing if those markets are ready for it or no. Eventually, they had to shut down their service in Lucknow, Kochi, Indore and Coimbatore. However, within 8 years of Zomato's envision, the company has marked its presence in 22 countries and is looking to expand to 40 countries by the end of 2016. Today, Zomato is the only unicorn company to have broke even in several big markets across the world. It now covers more than 1 million restaurants and receives over 25,000 orders every day. Well, Zomato is in no mood to retard its growth and is hoping to be at par with global players present across the world. Both Deepinder Goyal and Pankaj Chadda are leaving no stones unturned, and this is the reason behind the company's startling growth. Undoubtedly, Zomato has evolved itself to be India's first global application, and yet it does not wish to sit back and relax. Startup Stories wishes Zomato and its founders Pankaj Chadda and Deepinder Goyal all the very best for their future endeavors.
The Zomato success story where they went from a simple solution of scanning menu of different hotels to now being one of the largest food delivery companies there. And then they've also purchased a drone company, Tech Eagle, for drone delivery. So they are now global, right? So that's one success story that I wanted to talk about. So about Garuda Aerospace is a drone as a service company envisioning itself to become the drone unicorn startup in India, providing solutions for the last 5 years. Founder is Mr. Agnishwar Jayaprakash. He is an alumnus of Harvard University. We design, build, customize, and integrate drones for a lot of activities. We have about 13 verticals under which we work, including MRO, that's maintenance, repair, and overhauling of aircrafts. So we are the largest agri drone company in India with more than 50 drones. And then now we've been working with the farmers everywhere because there's shortage of labor and then they have challenges spraying. So we've been working with farmers. So that's Garuda Aerospace. And so any of you, to the interactors, to the rotaractors, anybody looking to be to have a startup, you can always give me a call. We have a 300 startups initiative at Agni College of Technology where we can incubate you and then provide you support if the idea or the product you're talking about is really, really good. So thank you so much.